Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we are reviewing part 4 of Kenda, the final part of the story. And like part 3, it was fine. I didn't really have any issues with it. Everything was kind of serving a purpose. Turns out the old blind lady did die, but all of her knowledge and essence passed into the younger one. That was pretty neat, and the way that was explained worked really well. I did like Davison in part 4 a lot. He did feel more like the doctor. He was thinking, he was using his brain, he was on the ball. I loved his slight irritation with his companions, especially Tegan. When it's well, if, how can the Mara invade our world? Well, if someone who doesn't share is dreaming, he's like, Tegan. And then when he kept trying to get her to talk about her dream, it seems like he's slightly impatient with Tegan the whole story. Even at the end, she's like, Doctor, and he's like, in a minute. Some people are in a hurry to be off. I did enjoy those little slight annoyances with Tegan. They're very in character for the 5th Doctor. I thought Davison was doing a really good performance in part 4. The one guy playing the possessed Mara, again, he overacts a little, but it's fine. I like how it ties everything in with what's going on at the Dome. That actually feels like it has a purpose. But like I said, the one guy's gone nuts and pretty much reverted to being a child almost. And then the older guy who looked in the box, he's always been the kind of stiff upper lip stern guy. So seeing him totally relaxed, too relaxed, is interesting. I love the part when the doctor accidentally steps on the little cut up doll and the crazy guy pulls the head off. He's like, a little glue? You can't fix people! That whole bit. The guy playing the crazy guy does really throw himself into the role. I'll give him that. I do enjoy that, and how they built the little city out of boxes. That's fine. It's fine. I did like the fact that both of the male crew members were fine at the end of it. I liked the little conversation at the end where, the nuts one, since he'd been so nuts looking into the box, kind of cured him of that. And then the other one, the older guy, him looking into the box ended up doing him some good too. It's like he needed that. As the doctor kind of phrases it, he needed it. And so both of them seem in a really good place. I like the 5th Doctor's rapport with the scientist lady, the female scientist. I think they have a really good rapport together. I liked them together throughout this story. There's a mutual respect there that I really like between them. That was really nice. The ending scene with the Mara I liked. I did watch it with the updated effects because, well, let's be honest, that original snake effect for the climax of the story is, let's be kind and say a tad lacking. Let's be honest, it's even by classic Who standards, it was in need of improving. Whereas in the updated effects, don't look like, Jodie Whittaker era Doctor Who, but that's fine. We don't need that. It looks good without triggering any kind of phobia somebody might have. It still looks like a CGI snake, but it looks convincing. It worked for the scene really well. I thought it really made the climax of the story feel like the climax of the story, and I very much enjoyed that. I do wish we'd had more of Nyssa in the story, but again, I know she was kind of added as a character at the last minute. This is early in the season. So they just kind of had to work around her not originally being in the script. They do that pretty well. You can almost forget she's a companion at the time. She just kind of bookends the story. They come up with an excuse for it, but her not being there is noticeable. Adric is fine in part 4. I love the little squabble him and Tegan have over who's the stronger willed. That's kind of like a brother and sister squabbling. I liked that. Especially when it's when Adric's like, I had it under control if the doctor hadn't interfered, and you hear the 5th Doctor, when I what? Almost like a stern dad. I do like Davison in parts 3 and 4 a lot. Like I said, I don't love Kenda. I don't think it's a really good story. But parts 3 and 4 are fine. I didn't regret watching them. I never had to pause part 3. I never had to pause part 4. I never had to step away from part 4. It's fine. It moves along at a steady pace. The 4th episode feels paced well. Doesn't really feel like a lot of filler. The one big complaint is the scene where Adrix and the robot thing against the Kinda people, and then the possessed guys in the little branch setup that looks kind of like the robot thing. That's a little weird. Like when they're almost tipping it over and they don't, then it starts sparking, they run away. That part's a little... That's really my only issue with it. I think the rest of it solves well. Still, as a whole, I don't really care for it. Part 2 especially, I didn't think was good. I wasn't overly fond of Part 1. Part of it could have just been me going into it with the negative mindset I have of Kinda, but I really think Part 2 was pretty bad. Parts 3 and 4 were fine. I don't really think they're that good, but I don't think they're bad. They're perfectly watchable. I don't know if I'd call the whole story that, because you do have to get through that first half, which, ooh. But the second half is fine. If you can get through Part 2, you're good. So, Kinda, what do you think of it and its 4 parts? Comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon. That helps me pay the bills. If that's something you would be interested in and helping support me here on the channel, there's a link to that down in the description below. I want to give a shout out to Colin Coney and Stephen Crane, 2 of my top tier patrons. I appreciate their continued support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have a P.O. box as well, if there's anything you would like to send me to review. I have a link to my Amazon wish list and my Amazon UK wish list down there as well. But most importantly, thank you for watching.